Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Once Upon a Crescent. This is season 7 with your host and storyteller, Mrs. Hashmi. This podcast show is especially about kids like you. My dear Muslim kid listeners, you are incredibly special to me because if you think about it, I am a part of your imagination. While I'm telling the story, you are imagining it. Now that's really special. Let's get started. Where's that imagination button that I have to push to start this episode? Oh, there it is.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Today's story is called Zayneb's Water Trip.
Zayneb froze still in the water with her mom. Zayneb studied her mom's tense face. Mama was frozen in the water, her eyes wide, staring off to the distance. Her mouth was slightly opened, prepared for any kind of danger. Zayneb sensed something was off. Mama was too quiet and too still in the water with her. Usually they would be splashing and swimming around giggling. But what made Mama stop in place like this? Zayneb tried to trace her mom's gaze to see exactly what she was staring at, but then suddenly Zayneb saw it. Zayneb saw a blurry figure under the water approaching swiftly. The figure was gliding under the water effortlessly too. Zayneb felt uncomfortable. She inched towards her mom slowly, waiting to see what was approaching her. Just as Zayneb was inching closer, she felt something on her leg. She felt a huge tug. Zayneb let out a big, frightened scream as she jolted and splashed in the water. Ah! It was Baba. He emerged from underneath laughing. Mama smiled and her face softened.
I gotcha! How'd you like your disguised Baba shark?
Baba said as he swam off to the other side of the pool. Zayneb chuckled.
I got scared, Baba.
She shouted after him.
Mama, can I try going underwater like that too? I want to creep up on Baba and scare him too. Zayneb shark will make him jump and splash like I just did.
Zayneb said, determined. Mama loved watching Zayneb in the water. She was a great swimmer. She even learned how to float by herself, too. Mama nodded as Zayneb went to the end of the pool to take the plunge underwater to torpedo all the way to where her Baba swam off to. Zayneb's deep breath carried her all the way to where her Baba was. While she was still underwater, Zayneb grabbed hold of Baba's leg, trying to scare him. She rose up from under the water to scream. Boo! Baba picked her up and lifted her all the way above his head in a playful manner. Zayneb loved being in the water with her family. She looked around to see if her cousins had come yet. She really wanted to play this new shark game with her cousins. Just then, Zayneb's grandparents walked into the swimming pool area with her cousins, Ibbi, Maryam, and Madina.
Nana, Nani, Assalamu alaikum. Nani, I love your bikini. Yay, everyone came.
Zayneb exclaimed, looking at her cousins. Zayneb's grandmother smiled big. Assalamu alaikum, beta. Yes, I cannot wait to see your tricks, Zayneb. Zayneb's grandfather came too, but Nana was not in swimming gear.
Sorry, no swimming for me today, but I will be back later with a surprise,
he said as he dropped off a bag of snacks and headed to the gate to exit the swimming pool. Zayneb watched as her grandmother and cousins entered the pool. Madina and Zayneb excitedly splashed around each other, wanting to play tag with one another. Another mom and her daughter entered the pool area. This little girl was only 3 years old. She looked frightened at the sight of the pool. "It's okay, Anisa." the mom reassured. Anisa held her arms up to be picked up. The mom picked up her daughter and slowly walked towards the stairs of the pool. Anisa was instantly upset. She squirmed and frowned as she approached the edge of the pool.
No, Mama, I don't want my face to get red.
Anisa exclaimed, resisting. Zayneb and Madina looked at each other as Anisa's protests got louder.
I'm scared of the water. Mama, I am scared.
Zayneb quietly wondered to herself what she could do to help solve this problem for this young girl. What would help prevent water from splashing around Anisa's face in the pool? Zayneb had an idea.
Oh, Anisa, assalamu alaikum. You can wear my goggles before coming in the pool. It will protect your eye from getting wet.
Zayneb got out of the pool to hand them to Anisa.
Do you want to do funny bubbles in the water with us? Madina and I can teach you how to do that if we get in together.
Nani spoke up. Come sit here. Let's say Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim out loud, and then your mama can bring you in the water. When we do something new, we have to remember Allah and start with Allah's name. It will make it easier, inshallah. Anisa took hold of her mom's hand and walked very slowly to the pool. She stared at the water for a moment, squeezing her mom's hand tight. Zayneb led her forward and gently fixed the goggles on Anisa's face. Finally, Anisa sat down on the edge of the pool and dipped her toes in the water. Her mom brought her in gently. Anisa comfortably entered the swimming pool, secured in her life vest. Zayneb climbed in, reciting out loud,
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Madina and Zayneb were excited to show little Anisa some new tricks in the water. Zayneb noticed Anisa's face change. She started to finally enjoy the water. Anisa cracked a smile as she adjusted her goggles. She bobbed up and down near them, holding on to her mom's arm. Zayneb dipped her head underwater and blew bubbles. Anisa giggled at the funny sounds. Madina demonstrated this trick too. Anisa was finally having some fun. She didn't wait for any instructions. She wanted to attempt the same trick, but by herself. Anisa dunked her head underwater, attempting to make bubbles like Zayneb and Madina, but instead, Anisa accidentally gulped a gush of water. She pushed her head up and coughed as she spat up water from her mouth. She froze in place as it forcefully exited through her nose, too. Anisa's mom felt startled. She lifted her daughter high above the water, patting her back steadily. Oh, no, it's okay. Let it come out, beta. Nani also came forward to rub Anisa's back as Anisa clung onto her mom, crying.
I don't like the bunny.
Zayneb watched as Anisa took a moment to calm down in her mom's arms. Poor Anisa really got frightened with this experience of gulping in too much water. Zayneb wondered to herself how she could help Anisa feel comfortable in the water again. She remembered what her Nani had mentioned earlier and was struck with an idea.
Nani, Anisa tried to do bubbles in the water before. I even got to teach her the right way to do it. Can I show you, Anisa, the right way to do bubbles underwater?
Zayneb looked to her cousin Madina and turned her body to Anisa and instructed.
Okay, first thing you have to say is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We have to start with Allah's name when we are doing anything new, right?
Nani loved Zaynab's reminder. She smiled so wide. So true, Zaynab. Anisa nodded slowly and began to recite the dua too.
Yes! I'll read my dua before trying this too. Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim. Second, you take a big breath while you are above the water, like this.
Anisa nodded. She stopped crying at this point and was focused on Zaynab's instructions.
Third, you will hold that breath and keep it closed in your mouth. Then dip your head underwater and slowly let that breath come out while you blow gently. Anisa, we're going to show it to you all at once, okay?
Zaynab and Madina recited together. Bismillah Rahman Rahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
They took a breath and then dipped their head underwater. Anisa stared at the blurry heads underwater and watched as the bubbles rose to the top. Anisa couldn't help but let out a giggle. As Anisa sat on the stairs, Zaynab gestured for her to sit on the steps and wait there.
Anisa, you stay there and tell me which animal I look like to you as I come near you.
Anisa and Madina sat on the steps, kicking their feet, making big splashes. Zaynab swam off and then dipped her entire body underwater. She was gliding effortlessly, using just her legs to propel her forward like a torpedo. Anisa yelled from the stairs.
A dolphin, you look like a dolphin.
Zaynab emerged from underwater smiling at Anisa. Madina loved Zaynab's demonstration. She exclaimed, Zaynab, that was a really good one. Now it's going to be my turn. You guys guess what animal I am. Just as Madina was about to show her trick, they all heard the pool gate open. Zaynab's Nana entered, waving at them, smiling. He was holding something behind his back. A surprise. What was it? Zaynab and Madina couldn't figure out what that was. He revealed what he was hiding behind his back by raising it up high and shaking it in excitement. It was a large fluff of cotton candy. My favorite! Zaynab exclaimed as she climbed out of the pool. Zaynab was soaked in her burkini, but she didn't let that stop her from giving her Nana a big hug.
Assalamu alaikum, little guriyas. Guess what I brought for you, little swimmers?
It was so nice to see her favorite treat after her favorite activity. Zaynab took hold of the cotton candy stick and offered some to Madina and her new young friend Anisa. Bismillah. They all recited at the same time. The girls enjoyed their sweet treat by the pool as everyone else came rushing, gathering around for a snack too.
Jazakallah khairun for listening to today's story.
Today's episode was sponsored by Sister Umrana and Brother Bilal for their daughter Zaynab. I hope you enjoyed this story. I'm doing a virtual event on August 5th, Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Time. I hope to see you all there. We're going to have some fun discussions and games along with a read aloud that I will be sharing called Abdurrahman's Amusing Alliterations. You can purchase a ticket for this event by clicking on the link in the description box of this episode. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.